What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Code 64. Today, of course, I'm here with 11 as always. Today, we're here to give our afterthoughts review of the Super Mario Galaxy movie. We just saw it last night, so we're just going to give you pretty much our afterthoughts of watching the movie. So let's dive right into it.
Yeah, I was honestly really excited going into the movie. I was really hoping that it was going to be better than the first one. Me personally, I thought that it was better than the first one. But yeah, what do you just overall before we get into the details of it? We have my dog, kind of fucking around.
Yeah.
What did you like? Just a little bit of a brief summary. Like, what did you think about it?
Honestly, at first, of course, I wanted to see the movie, obviously, but as we got further into it, I was really enjoying it. And then there were some parts I feel that were kind of a bit rushed, maybe to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're somebody that's just looking to go in for a fun movie and you're a big fan of the Mario franchise and you don't really care about a whole lot of deep stuff or like any crazy stuff like that, I think you'll enjoy it because it's just a fun movie overall and it's not really meant to be taken too seriously.
Yeah.
Overall, I think it was pretty enjoyable just from that standpoint alone.
Yeah, for sure. There were definitely, and we'll get into it right now. And just as a warning, we might get into like light spoilers. I think we should just like
Yeah.
give like an overall synopsis of
Yeah.
like very specific parts.
Yeah, just like a synopsis, because maybe we could do like a spoiler review discussion maybe at some point later on.
Yeah. We,
Yeah.
we could do a more in-depth like episode maybe when we do like a proper podcast episode. But right now we're just, since the movie is so fresh, we're gonna be kind of bouncing around different parts of the movie. So if you don't want to be spoiled, because again we are gonna kind of cover some spoilers, then go watch the movie, come back, or go watch, or just wait like a couple weeks or something. But
Yeah.
but yeah. First things first. I I thought that the movie was probably a little bit better than the last one. I do agree with what you said. Now that I started to think about it a little bit more, I do think that the ending bit of it, the first one still probably has a stronger ending.
Yeah. So not without getting into spoilers, I found the ending, like, don't get me wrong, the ending seemed like how it was animated and what was going on was really great.
Yeah,
But just how it kind of started like absurdly, like out of nowhere, just kind of shocked me because I'm like, oh, this is the ending already. I didn't realize that until it was all over and said and done with.
yeah.
So I feel that was a bit weird. So I feel the first movie probably still has a bit of a stronger ending, but overall the action in it was really good. So I mean, I'm not going to criticize it for that, but I will probably just deduct a little point off of it just because of like how absurd it was, how it just kind of came out of nowhere. It's like, oh, well, this is the ending apparently. So
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. There's a specific part of the ending that I just like completely shifted my opinion on it, because I'm like kind of biased towards it. I'll mention it here in a bit.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but so one of the biggest things, of course, the movie is based around Galaxy, right? Just the based off the Galaxy games, and of course, with that, they brought in Rosalina, voiced by Brie Larson. Before we did see the movie, we did hear some things about the screen time that Rosalina was going to have, compared to the other big character that was part of the movie, kind of a cameo. What did you think about Rosalina, specifically, again, since she's like one of the big focal points of the movie, I guess, this time around? What did you think of Rosalina?
Honestly, what critics said about it, they kind of tried to make it seem like her screen time was very, very small and like it wasn't not anything too noteworthy. I mean, it wasn't. Of course, it was not as big as a lot of other characters' screen time, but the way they said it was kind of felt like it was exaggerated.
Yeah.
And it felt almost like it was pretty equal compared to some of the other characters, especially like one of the guest characters, which we'll talk about here in a minute. I felt honestly her inclusion was done really good, and some of the backstory that we got with her, which of course we're not going to really talk about that because that kind of does go a bit into spoilers because
Yeah.
it's not really going to talk about that. But honestly, I feel the most part, I think she was done really well. I mean, would I like to see her maybe a little bit more? Yeah, sure, because I'm a big Rosalina fan. But I think honestly, just giving like, because in the Galaxy games, specifically in Galaxy One, she's not really a whole lot part of like the story if you think about
That's
it.
true.
If you think about it, because she's just chilling in the hub world the entire time.
Yeah.
And in Galaxy 2, she's basically she's completely absent in Galaxy 2 until you actually beat like the final level of the game if you go over 100%.
Damn.
So that's it. So yeah, honestly, when you consider that, I don't think her runtime in the movie was really that bad. I would like to see more, sure. That's just my bias towards it, but I think honestly it was fun enough as is.
Yeah, I think so too. I honestly do think that, and there's like a big kind of reveal towards more so like the last act of the movie. having to do with Peach and Rosalina, and
Yeah.
maybe that gave away a little bit too much, but and it's not something that is part of the games.
It's not,
which
yeah.
is kind of giving me some hope that for the next movie, because again, kind of a little bit of a spoiler, they do kind of insinuate that there is going to be a third one.
I think most people could kind of assume they were going to make a
Yeah.
third one anyway. I mean,
Yeah, and with that, I hope that they do explore that dynamic because of what happened or what is revealed in the movie with Peach and Rosalina and another person that comes out in the in the one of the post credit scenes, which kind of does confirm yes, there is going to be another movie, because of this person coming out. But I thought that it was done pretty well. I thought Rosalina, throughout in the beginning, and this was something that was shown in the trailers. She stood her ground. She protected her home. She protected the Luma. She did what she could. And yeah, for the most part in the movie, they again, I'm not going to really spoil what happens to her, but they do update you on her. It's not like you don't see her until you only see her in the beginning and then you only see her at the end. You do get to see her throughout, and they do show what happens with her throughout the movie. And I thought it was pretty well done. Do you have anything else you want to say about Rosalina?
No.
Oh, what about what did you think of her voice actor? Did you think that she was done well?
yeah, honestly, Brie Larson did a pretty good job for the most part. I mean, I don't have any two complaints, but I thought just the way how she was portrayed in the movie, I don't think she did that bad of a job, honestly.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
I thought she did a pretty great job actually. I do like the emotion that she showed. I don't have any big complaints about it really. I think that she fit right into the cast. Because sometimes when you critique voice actors, you put them up against the other people in the cast. But honestly, I feel like Brie Larson really contributed a really good part into the movie. I don't think she was lacking in any department. The other, I think there's a couple of new voice actors, but regardless,
Yeah.
but
One thing I do want to say, because Brie Larson is very well known mostly for her role as Captain Marvel in Avengers, and there is a whole debacle online whether if she's good for that or not. There's a lot of people that don't like Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
Yeah, I know.
But honestly, for how she was voicing Rosalina, you could tell that she's very talented in just acting in general. Because there was a lot of moments where you could tell she was just calm and collected, and then she would instantly shift focus to a more aggressive tone, and it sounds supernatural.
Yeah. And you could kind of tell because throughout the promotion of this movie, or whenever she was casted as Rosalina, whenever she was announced, she was, and even before that, actually, she's always voiced the fact that she is a big Nintendo fan.
Yeah,
she loves video
yeah.
games, and specifically Nintendo.
Yeah, her and Pacific, she wants to play as Samus in a Metroid movie. She's
Yeah.
been saying that for years.
Yeah, so she's a big Nintendo fan, and I'm pretty sure this role meant a lot to her. And if Rosalina is going to be part of the next movie, which I'm pretty sure she'll come back. I don't see why she wouldn't. I don't know to what degree, but I'm pretty sure she'll knock it out of the park as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm really happy with her casting as Rosalina. The other one before we get into the big, other big character was Yoshi. Another big part of this movie was Yoshi. He was pretty much in it from the beginning. That was what happens at the beginning of the movie is the introduction of Yoshi. What did you
Yeah.
think of Yoshi in this movie?
I thought his introduction was great. The whole little segment where they showed him roaming around Brooklyn was really cool.
Yeah, that
It's
was
kind of funny. He was wearing some gangster hats backwards and everything.
He was a menace, dude.
Yeah.
Yoshi's little brief history of what he did before they found him was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Yoshi was portrayed very well. Definitely very accurate to Game Yoshi, which I like that. I really have no complaints how Yoshi was portrayed. They made him really super cute, so I think Yoshi was done really well. I have no complaints with that.
Yeah, he's gonna be a fan favorite. To people that are not familiar with too much with Yoshi throughout the games or whatever, I mean, it's kind of hard not to be familiar with him at this point. But
Yeah, I mean-
for people that are not,
Yeah.
I feel like this movie really did a lot in showing how cute he is, how loyal he is, and also just he's not shy. He's willing to get because he's in the action. He is part of the action as much as the Mario Brothers are.
Pretty much, yeah.
And he's in the battles throughout the entire movie.
Yeah. Which is why I was really confused. Some critics say that Yoshi was barely in the movie. I don't know.
He was in it pretty much the entire time.
I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, he was in it the entire time. The only thing maybe, and I don't find a problem with it because obviously I'm familiar with Yoshi and like Yoshi's story and all that stuff. You know, maybe some people I can understand. Maybe some people can make the argument that like they want to know more specifically where Yoshi comes from, but with the runtime of the movie, I'm kind of glad that they didn't delve too much into it. Besides that part of like where he's in Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
um, I feel like that, and honestly, there is kind of like a subtle Yoshi part, for like a good 10 minutes of the movie, and we'll get into
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
we were talking about this before, but yeah, I love Yoshi in this movie. He was super cute. He was pretty badass. I think his interaction specifically with like Toad and stuff, because Toad is like part of the gang, and he's kind of jealous throughout the movie. He's like, what the hell, this new guy just gets to join the team.
Yep.
I thought his interactions were funny, and he's very charismatic. And you know, Donald Glover, because he's the voice actor, I think he did a great job with him. Of course, there's not really so much that you can do with Yoshi and the way that he talks and stuff like that. He doesn't say much besides like Yoshi or whatever.
This is America.
This is America, yeah. But I thought he was great. I love Yoshi in this movie. Do you have anything else about Yoshi that you want to?
No, not really. I have no complaints with Yoshi at all. Yoshi was done perfectly well, honestly.
Yeah, and okay, there's another character before we get into another big one. Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr., of course, a big part of the movie. He's pretty much the villain, for the most part, throughout this entire movie. He's kind of like the one that sets up, you know, the big things that happen at the end and stuff like that. And he's kind of like the reason why, you know, Rosalina's conflict happens and whatnot. I personally thought that Bowser Jr. was voiced great. Initially, with what they showed of his voice acting in the trailers, I was kind of skeptical, but with this movie, the entirety, I thought it was perfect. I thought it was very well done. I thought that it was really cute, his backstory. He never had any ill will for Bowser. You know, because Bowser's so busy running all the schemes that he does and trying to, you know, capture the princess and do all this crazy shit. But he's evil. Like he's just full of evil. He is not afraid. They weren't afraid to just make him like an evil character. I don't know. What did you think about Bowser Jr.?
Bowser Jr. was good, done really well.
Yeah.
There's one reference I'm going to point out, Settle, but I'm not going to because it's a massive Easter egg. I don't want to get into it.
Mhm.
You probably know what I'm referencing, where he opened the thing and then it reveals, you know what?
Where it shows the weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't
okay.
want to get too much into that because
Yeah.
it's a really cool Easter egg.
Yeah.
But Bowser Jr. as a whole was done really well. I mean, you could tell. Well, it was really. Nah, if I talk about that part, that's too much spoilers. I can't go that far. I'll just say his characterization, when you compare it to Bowser Jr. from the games, is done really well. Bowser Jr. for me personally is one of my favorite Mario characters.
Mhm.
So I was really pleased with how they portrayed him.
Yeah.
You know, it
me
just
too.
seemed like a kind of a not really bratty, but he was more of just like an evil, just kind of an evil kid, basically just an evil little Bowser, which is what you would expect.
Yeah.
And he was done just perfectly well.
Yeah, he was, you know, his whole thing is that like he wants to be just like his dad.
Yeah.
The all that he saw from his dad growing up is all like the evil, but he doesn't think that of Bowser as a bad guy. He just he aspires to be like Bowser. And he's super proud of his dad, and he just, again, I don't want to spoil it too much, but there's some moments where Bowser's kind of doubting himself if he's really that evil, and it's Bowser Jr. that reminds him of who he kind of is throughout the movie. And again, it leads to what happens at the end of the movie and the climax of the movie, if you will. But yeah, he just kind of sticks to his character throughout the entire movie, and I'm very happy because again, he's like the evil reflection of Bowser, I guess. And I thought he was very well done, and he was voiced very, very well done. But yeah, been kind of hinting about it. They dropped the poster for it, so of course, you know, it's not really a spoiler because it was officially revealed before the movie came out. But one of the other big ones was Star Fox. Fox is in the movie.
Yep.
What
That
did you
was-
think about Fox?
That was really cool. I'm gonna say this right now though. I really wish they would have not revealed it before the movie came out because
That would have
if I
been a
would've-
huge reveal.
If I would have saw that like without knowing he was in it already, I would have flipped out.
Yeah,
So
me too. But yeah, so what did you think of him?
his characterization was really great, and even the references to the rest of the Star Fox crew was really cool.
Oh yeah,
It was so well done. And, you know, we talked about this in our last episode that a new Star Fox game is being rumored. with Star Fox being in this movie, I think that game is more than likely real at this point because it just seems too likely to be a coincidence at this point.
Yeah.
Because you're literally just tossing Star Fox into a movie, but there's no supposed game coming. I don't really know if I believe that.
Yeah.
So just to see that is really great because Star Fox has been in the trenches and his characterization was perfect. Like I said, there was a little other scene with him near the end where you just see him again. The R-wing was really cool.
Yeah.
Just blasting through space was great. And it was his. I don't really know what else much to say without going into spoilers how to describe it. But if you're a Star Fox fan, all I'm gonna say is you're gonna love Fox's portrayal in this movie because it absolutely nails his character.
Yeah, he is just cool. Like if I had to say one word for him is he's presented as just the coolest dude, and even everybody in the movie, you know, Toad, even the Lumas, they're just like fanboying over Fox because he is legitimately cool in the movie. Again, like Cody said, when he's introduced and he's talking about like how he got to where they meet up with the other characters, specifically Peach, they give a little bit of his like backstory, and not only does it show Fox, but it also shows the rest of the crew, Falco, Slippy, Harry as well. And it's done in a really cool style. Again, you guys got to go see the movie to know what I'm talking about, because I'm not doing it justice. But
You said Harry is Pepe Hair.
Pepe Hair. I always call him Harry for whatever reason. But yeah, he was just done really excellent. Again, the R-wing looks super cool, and then there's a scene towards the end where he does some other cool stuff as well. I don't really want to get into spoilers. But yeah, I think it was very deliberate because if there is going to be a new Star Fox game, specifically 2 Star Fox games, one this year, potentially one next year, I think that Nintendo did a great job at introducing this character because it's not like he was just in it for like a scene or two. He was in it like, you know, he wasn't fully in it, but he was in it enough to where it kind of made it seem like, yeah, Nintendo wants you to know who this character is. Nintendo wants you to know the motivations for this character to kind of set up for something because, like I told Cody, this is probably a lot of kids' first introduction to Fox. And these kids are going to go home wanting to know more about Fox. They're going to be surprised that he has his own games. He's not a Mario character. And they're going to want more. Like, and for Nintendo to not want to capitalize on this potential new wave of popularity or interest for Fox would be kind of foolish in my opinion. So I feel like if they are setting up for a potential new game, this was the perfect way to do it.
No, I agree 100%.
Because not only was Fox in it and their R-wing, but they reference again the other characters from Star Fox. They made the movie. I mean, they made new music. They kind of remixed some of it. I was letting you hear it earlier.
Yep.
It sounds badass. They do references to like the barrel roll thing and stuff like that. So there's just a lot of references for Star Fox, and again, for them to not want to capitalize on that would be kind of foolish. So I really hope that it does set up for something. I don't know if he'll get his own movie, but I do hope that it leads to like potentially like a show or something, and specifically in the style that they did his little backstory thing. Yeah, that would be really cool. But do you have anything else you want to say about Fox?
Not really. I'm just gonna say, I haven't played too many Star Fox games, but I played Star Fox Zero and a little bit ones before that.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm gonna say is, if you're a Star Fox fan and you at least play some of the games like I have, you'll be really pleased with how Star Fox's inclusion was in the movie. He was done really well. I don't want to really say too much more because I feel like if I do that, it's gonna go into spoilers because of context of certain scenes, and I don't really want to do that. All I'm just gonna say is he was done beautifully. I have no complaints about that.
Yeah, me too. So what did you think about like the other stuff? Like, because one of the, you can say it's a criticism or, a bonus since we're big Nintendo fans and of all their stuff. What did you think about like all the other references? Of course, we had we had Mauser, we had Birdo and stuff like that. But throughout the entire movie, it was kind of like, keeping an eye out for potential other stuff that gets shown. Did you enjoy that part of the viewing experience?
I really did. There's one thing you noticed in particular that I cannot believe I didn't notice.
A little bit of a spoiler.
Should I even mention it or no?
Yeah, I mean, again, spoiler warning. It's not really. It doesn't have anything to do with the story or like what goes on or something like that. It's not like a big reveal, but it's like oh shit, like is this gonna lead to anything?
Yeah.
But go for it.
Yeah. So I don't know how I didn't notice this, but there's a specific scene. It's actually right before they meet up with Fox.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a whole area where there's a bunch of ships and everything, and in the background, for a brief moment, you can actually see Samus's gunship.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice that, and then I saw a picture of it on Twitter. I'm like, wow, he was actually right, because I didn't see it. I thought that was a really neat reference. If you've seen our previous video, you know I'm also big on Metroid. So a reference like that is really cool. I love to see that stuff. Me personally, I'm kind of glad it was only just a subtle reference, because I don't know how much I would want an Illumination style Metroid thing.
Yeah, I
don't
get
think
that.
I'd really want that.
I get that.
But it's a cool little nod nonetheless. I like that.
Yeah, because you said in the last movie, and this is something that I didn't notice actually, or maybe I didn't remember, but in the last movie, Mario on top of his TV, he had an R-Wing.
He did, yeah, and they removed it.
Yeah, so again, maybe foreshadowing, but from what I see, the reports are they didn't know that they didn't really know that they were gonna want to put Fox in until like a couple years ago.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it could have just been like a little Easter egg that turned into something in the movie. Yeah. So
this one also isn't really too much of a spoiler. This is actually regarding a character. It was only on screen maybe for about 5-10 seconds. They even made a post about this before the movie came out, so it's not even really spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
But they had the little rocket ship with Pikmin, and remember that?
oh yeah.
Little Pikmin.
They made it seem like, again, a little bit spoilers, but they made it seem like it was a huge spaceship, and then it opened up to reveal the Pikmin, and then they zoomed out, and it's like a very small little spaceship.
Yeah.
And it's like all the Pikmin, not all the variations of the Pikmin, no all of them are or anything like that, just like the main Pikmin, but they come out of the ship. And
Yeah, it was a little cute nod.
yeah, that scene where they're in the hangar with all the ships and stuff, that was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and of course this was also in the trailer. I if I do gotta say one criticism of the way that they promoted this movie is I feel like they revealed a little bit too much. Again,
Specifically with Fox, that's my main thing.
Yeah, I really do wish that they didn't show Fox in just a poster form or at all before the movie came out, because again, I feel like a lot of people would have been. There's a specific part that people popped off at the end because it's just so out of nowhere for a specific character, but this definitely would have had people like freaking the fuck out. Honestly, I would have probably started clapping or cheering. People did cheer when he came out and stuff because it was a pretty hype moment.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have been a bigger moment if they wouldn't have showed it.
Exactly.
But yeah, like I said, one of my kind of big criticisms is because the one that I have in mind is the Rob scene. Where
oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, the Rob scene. It was really funny, but just moments like that I kind of wish that they didn't show in trailer form. I feel like if anything, those again, you're gonna have people going into these movies looking for Easter eggs or stuff like that. So I feel like it could have been more well done or just better handled if some of those things were saved for just when you go watch the movie rather than here it is in the trailer. Because actually, and not really a spoiler because this was also in one of the trailers, but one of the trailers showed a scene that ended up being a post-credit scene. So to me, that was kind of weird with the Luma.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that would have been a post-credit scene.
Yeah, they didn't show the context as to like, what the Luma is. I thought it was just going to be a part of the movie. But yeah, it ended up being a post-credit scene, which was kind of weird. If you guys know what I'm talking about, the scene with the Luma, the depressing Luma, the edgy Luma in the cop outfit or whatever, that ended up being a post-credit scene, which was kind of weird.
Yeah, that Luma was from the first movie originally.
Yeah, it was the super depressing, edgy Luma.
Yeah.
So I guess we can get into some criticisms now, because again, it's as much as I love the movie and I thought it was great as a big Nintendo fan. It was really cool to see all the references. Well, yeah, that's a big spoiler. I don't want to show talk about the part where he opens up the weapon case or whatever.
Yeah. Let's not get into that.
Yeah, but there's a lot of like really cool stuff. They get to like a specific part before they get to war or whatever. You get to see the N64 logo or whatever, just like a hologram form, and there's a bunch of different stuff like that sprinkled throughout the movie, kind of like there is in the first one. So if you guys are a big fan of that, then you guys will absolutely love the movie. But yeah, let's get into some criticisms. Do you want to voice some of your opinions? Because I know that you said that we talked about the ending a little bit, how we felt like the ending just kind of came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
because the runtime isn't super long. I think it was like an hour and 36
It's pretty
minutes.
much roughly the same length as the first movie.
Yeah, I think it's just a couple minutes longer.
Yeah, that's really
Which
it,
honestly,
yeah.
it's not really that much
Yeah.
longer in the grand scheme of things.
I think it's only like 2 or 3 minutes longer, which is nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty much nothing, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we can talk a little bit about the ending since we already kind of mentioned it. But yeah, the ending, it was really well choreographed. I did like, because it's like very action based, the climax of the movie, and I think it was cool. It had like a cool reveal, where with Bowser, you know, and stuff like that when they're having that battle, or before the big battle and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But it did kind of, you know, if you were paying attention to the clock, you're like, oh shit, the movie's almost over, you know, like what's gonna happen at the end.
Yep.
And yeah, the battle didn't go for too long. It wasn't
It
as
didn't.
as grand as potentially like when they were on Rainbow Road and stuff like that in the last movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have anything else you want to say about the ending?
My thing is, so I got 2 criticisms. First thing being, of course, it's a Galaxy movie. There is some people will say this is barely a Galaxy movie. I don't entirely agree with that sentiment because there is a lot of Galaxy elements in here.
Yeah.
There is. My one gripe with that though is that I feel if the movie was longer, they could have had like more actual galaxies to explore. Because not going into spoilers, there really wasn't a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
Which is what I kind of wanted more of. There's a lot of space stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
But actual Pacific galaxies, it's a bit on the smaller side. Would be nice to see a little bit more of that. Second criticism that I have is that, again, I mentioned this earlier, the ending I feel came on way too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, well, we're already here.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be, you know, ending this quickly, of course, because it felt like it felt like they jumped into the final like act of the movie, and you don't even realize it's entirely the final act of the movie until, oh, well, here's the final battle.
Yeah.
And you don't really realize what it is until then.
Yeah.
Until everything's said and done. That's kind of my main criticism. Just like I think the way the pacing was with that was a little bit off, and I kind of wish there was a bit more, you know, stuff to kind of take in with more galaxies. Maybe if the movie was longer, we would have gotten that, or if things were paced
Yeah.
differently, we could have gotten that. But that's just kind of my 2 main criticisms with it, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. And not to say that the ending doesn't have its cool moments. Again, I won't get into spoilers because this was something that they haven't revealed or anything like that.
Yeah.
But towards the end, when in the midst of the action, there's a really cool like fan servicey moment. And so if you guys watch and you guys are familiar with like Nintendo stuff, you guys will really appreciate it. It was a really cool movie moment, I think. But yeah, I think it was kind of rushed. To me, it kind of felt like everything that happened there, because there wasn't like a big resolution to what ended up happening or what they kind of set up for towards the ending throughout the movie, which is kind of disappointing. But to me, it kind of felt like they were very much setting up for something in the next movie, like, because there wasn't like a big ending to it, you know. Even in the post-credit scene, what happens with Bowser and Bowser Jr., it's kind of like, okay, it kind of shows what they're gonna do to potentially set up their next scheme or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everything kind of feels like, oh well, you know, there might be a big resolution or a bigger thing happening in the next movie, which again, we don't know when that happens, because the next thing that Nintendo's doing in terms of movie is the Zelda movie next year. So I don't think we'll get a next Mario movie until like 2028, 2029.
I can see maybe in 2030 at this point.
Yeah.
It really depends.
Because when did the first one come out?
2023.
2023. So it was like 3 years in between.
Yeah, 3 years.
So yeah,
Yeah.
the closer to 2030. You know, something like
it
that.
could be. Or maybe they'll get one 2029. I'd say latest is probably 2030.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Illumination, they churn out the movies pretty quickly, and I mean, but of course it is Nintendo. They probably want to handle that very carefully, but
Yeah.
but still, but yeah, the my other criticism, and this is something that I was talking to you before we did the review, is there's a part kind of in the middle of the movie where they get to like a specific place, something happens, and they're stuck in a specific area, and I don't know how to talk about it without. It's kind of centered around Yoshi and like Toad and stuff like that. It was in the trailer. It was actually in one of the trailers. The part where they get to with the T-Rex, the Odyssey T-Rex or whatever. When they get to that area, the plot of the movie just kind of stops to kind of kind of give you that sense of like, oh, is this a Yoshi's Island reference or something like that? Because it has like baby Luigi, baby Mario, and stuff like that, and it's centered around Yoshi and Toad, and of course the T-Rex and stuff like that. But for me, that part, I feel like it could have either been shorter, or they could have just completely reworked that part to continue the plot a little bit. Because again, one of the biggest criticisms that a lot of people have is the fact that the plot just kind of happens like super quickly. And this doesn't really help that, because it just kind of stops and it turns into like a little. This kind of felt like they could have just taken this as like a thing they put on like the Blu-ray or like the DVD or something like that, or they could have even just released this part on like the YouTube channel as like a short film, because it kind of felt like its own little thing, honestly. Because again, the Mario Brothers, they're babies, so it's not like they're in it too much as like themselves as growing up. But to me, it kind of just felt like the plot stopped, and then it just went into like a completely different thing. I do like it. I did still like it because it was really cute, and it was funny and everything. I feel like a lot of people will like that scene, but in terms of like it progressing the story, it really doesn't. It just kind of like put the main plot to a halt. I don't know. What did you think of that part? Like, do you agree with?
Yeah, I feel like that part entirely could have been removed entirely, and it could have been reworked into like another galaxy or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or and again with I mean, the movie's not really too long. The movie flies by, like it just flew by. So when you have that situation going on already, you kind of it could have potentially been used to maybe give a little bit more context to specific things. Maybe again have Rosalina up on screen a little bit longer, or just whatever it is. But yeah, besides that, the ending and that part, I don't really have anything else to say. Again, my biggest thing for those of you guys, if you guys are paying attention to reviews, don't really pay attention to the reviews. There's a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of disingenuous reviews out there. Again, the movies, they're meant to be fun. Again, they're meant to, kind of cater to a younger audience. But there's still a lot of things that diehard Nintendo fans are going to appreciate about these movies. And I feel like if you just go in it with the mindset of I just want to have a good time, you will definitely have a good time with this movie, because it definitely was a really good time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you have anything else you want to say or add to that?
No, not really. I would say, like I said at the beginning of the review, if you're someone that's looking to just have a good time with a Mario film or whatever it is, it's a fun time to have a movie. Just don't go in expecting like super depth story or whatever, or like a super deep plot or whatever. I mean, it's a Mario movie. If you're just looking for a fun time and you just want to see a bunch of Nintendo stuff, Mario related stuff, or of course Star Fox because he's in it, whatever it is, just go in just an open mind and just try to enjoy it. And I think honestly make your experience overall a lot better than what some of these critics are saying.
Yeah, because again, a lot of people are, even if you're a diehard Nintendo fan or specifically a Mario fan, a lot of the time, and I guess it could be a criticism, and it is a valid one, and I've made this criticism myself as well, is a lot of the Mario games, most of the Mario games, not counting the RPGs or stuff like that, where you kind of have to have like an in-depth story. A lot of the mainline Mario games don't really have a super deep super deep story. It's kind of just like Bowser captures a princess or something evil happens with them, and then it's up to Mario to go capture, and the games kind of get carried by the gameplay. And with this, it kind of feels the same. The action is good, it's really well animated, there's a lot of really cool stuff to keep an eye out, a lot of really good references. The music was excellent. The music
was top notch.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I will say. The movie was fucking amazing. The music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nothing you just said a second ago reminded me. This is another reference. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm just going to give you a hint here. When you're watching the movie, it's near the very beginning of it. Look out for a bookshelf. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Look out for a bookshelf.
You kind of have to like know.
You have to kind of know what it's referencing.
Yeah, because I didn't know until Cody told me, and then I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
All I'm gonna say is, I'm not gonna say what subgenre of Mario spin-offs, but if you're into any of the Mario spin-offs, you're gonna know what the reference is. And let me tell you, if you're into it like me, it was a absolute treat to see that.
Yeah, you noticed it right away. I didn't pick up on it until you told me.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. And honestly, if you have friends, I hope you have friends. If you guys have friends, go watch it with friends, because there were things where Cody was noticing that I didn't, and there was stuff that I noticed that he didn't. So it's a really cool thing to go watch with friends, and again, friends that know about Nintendo stuff, because you're just gonna be like, oh shit, that's this from that, you know. And there was a lot of cool moments like that. But yeah, do you want to give the movie a rating out of 10?
For me, I would say at most I would give it a 9. At least I would give it a 8 at worst.
Yeah, if I'm
worst
being
of
really
it.
generous, I would give it a 9. And that's me being a Nintendo fanboy speaking. If I'm being really critical about it, I would give it like an 8.5 or like an 8, closer to like an 8.
Yeah.
Because again, you know, as an adult, you kind of pick up on the fact that yes, it's not a super deep plot. Don't go into it being super critical or hating on it immediately, because it's not that type of movie. You know, there's people, and you mentioned this too, that are going to compare it to other video game movies like the Sonic movie, but even Sonic has a more, even in the video games, has a more in-depth plot. They have like a more like, you know, like they have like a bigger story. You know, they always try to make a bigger deal about the story.
Yeah,
And
that's
so-
one thing. That's one thing people tend to forget, because I've seen a lot of people comparing like the story of the Galaxy movie to like the Sonic movies. One thing people forget is that the Sonic games always have a much more deeper lore than any Mario game ever has.
Yeah, they
And I
have a
think
big
people
story.
tend to forget that. So making that comparison, I feel, is kind of silly, because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, you also got to keep in mind, like, the audience that these games target. Sure, Sonic targets young and older audience, but it's kind of meant, like, for, like, a teenage audience, sort of, with all the lore and all the storytelling that they do.
Exactly.
Mario's kind of, like, for everybody, you know, like, but a lot of the time it's for kids, you know, it's for kids. So, yeah, just go into it, have a good time. You know, don't take it too serious. It's not that type of movie. You know, there's 2 post-credit scenes. One of them is silly. I will say it's a little bit silly. It kind of does set up a little bit for the next movie, and the next one isn't too big, but it does give a nice reveal for what we could potentially see, a character that we could potentially see in the next movie. So
Not only potential, they're gonna be in the next one.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
they
yeah.
really showed them. Yeah, but I know what you
for
mean.
sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
in like a big way at least. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I'm really excited for that, but
Oh, I know you are, given who the character is. Not gonna
Yeah.
say who, but I know, I can tell.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our review of the Mario movie. Again, not super in depth. Maybe once things, more time passes, we'll do like a podcast episode talking specifically about like specific references, and you can talk about like the beginning reference that you got that I didn't, and just stuff like that. We'll make like a podcast talking about it. But for now, we just wanted to give you guys our initial review. We watched it last night. It's fresh in our heads, so wanted to
Yep.
talk about it for a bit. Do you have anything else you want to say to that?
Excuse my yawn.
No, you're good.
Other than that, not really. I would say, just as a overall Mario fan, it was fun. It's just a fun movie. That's all I can really say.
Yeah.
Not super deep, but just a fun time.
Yeah, go watch it. Get some friends to watch it with you. It's a really good time. But yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, we did record a video yesterday. I don't know the order of how we're going to release it. I might take some time tonight to edit the other video. It's not anything too crazy, so I just got to trim it down so I could post that, and then we can post a review hopefully by Saturday, so that you guys have something to look forward to, because I know a lot of people are going to probably wait till the movie comes out until the weekend, Easter weekend,
Yeah.
with their families and stuff like that. So it's going to be a really good weekend for the movie. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the movie. Let us know what you guys thought about the movie. Of course, try to be as spoiler free as possible in the comments, because again, it just came out. But if you guys enjoyed the movie, let us know in the comments. Let us know what your ratings of the movie were, and if you guys are excited for a potential, probably more than likely, with how much money this movie's going to make, for a potential Mario movie 3. And what do you think it's going to be called? Because that's something else that we've been like discussing. I have been giving a lot of copium to Cody that after all this craziness that's been happening in the movie, they're going to need a vacation. And what game do they kind of take a vacation, or what's the game that they talk about vacation?
You know, at
Mario
first,
Sunshine,
at first I found it was probably not going to happen, because they skipped right to Galaxy. In game order, that doesn't make sense, because Sunshine happened before Galaxy.
Yeah.
But I guess after some of the stuff that I saw in the movie, I guess maybe things could be different.
There was a lot of Piantas in the movie.
Things could be different, maybe just references that were there that could change.
Yeah, there was references
Yeah.
that I caught that he didn't.
Yeah.
And that he saw afterwards on tweets and stuff.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh shit, okay.
So maybe he's right. Maybe it's a Sunshine movie. I would love that. I'd love to see Delfino Plaza and Isle Delfino in like in a movie, like the movie universe. I would love to see that. But I guess only time will tell. But that's what I would want for a third movie, a Sunshine movie.
Yeah,
Personally.
that'd be cool. At least the setting of it, like
Yeah.
where they're at, because again, Mario movies, they're like a combination of a bunch of different games. So as long as the plot, but whatever, regardless. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know what you guys thought about the movie down below. Again, check the links in the description to find me, to find Cody. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Do you have anything else?
That's it, and we appreciate you guys for watching as always.
Yeah, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, slap a like on the video to support, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace.